This research work is entitled Aggregating EEG Brain Signal Analysis on Attention, Emotion, and Cognition to develop a regression rule-based pedagogy for online learners. It aims to make a significant contribution to the ongoing development of artificial intelligence in the field of education, with a particular emphasis on investigating the pedagogical and psychological benefits of AI, given the lack of research in this area. The purpose of the study is to shed light on the potential benefits of incorporating AI in education and how it can positively impact teaching and learning processes. It is worth noting that the majority of research conducted between 1996 and 2019 has primarily focused on student abilities while ignoring the concept of cognitive load. Additionally, the majority of these studies have used questionnaires to assess cognitive burden. However, cognitive load is an overlooked factor with significant effects on the performance of learners, and it is essential to recognize its impact. Hence, there is a compelling need to comprehensively understand the intricate links between cognitive load and student abilities, which has been one of the main objectives of this study. Furthermore, this research was initially conceptualized when educational institutions transition to online learning environments, as learners are required to exercise self-regulation, which can impact their attention, emotion, and cognition. This transition presented educators with significant challenges in devising effective modules or learning materials. Given that these factors play a critical role in evaluating learning outcomes, they merit meticulous consideration in this study. These factors on attention, emotion, and cognition are crucial because several studies have revealed that online learners often face challenges. These factors are in fact still being investigated by many studies using different approaches, either descriptive or technology-based, to assess learners' attention, emotion, and cognition. With regard to attention, one study has shown that the importance of attention should be carefully considered in the design of various learning materials. However, the complexity of learning content presentation and graphic display often confuses or distracts learners. Consequently, it is imperative to address this issue, as analyzing learners' attention is crucial in determining the effectiveness of the teaching and learning process and validating learners' achievements and competencies. In terms of emotion, studies have found that online learners often experience negative emotions such as time constraints to complete tasks, irrelevant content in learning materials, overly complex tasks, confusion caused by faulty materials, and excessive boredom leading to anxiety. These concerns can have a detrimental impact on learners' overall learning experience and should be addressed. Assessing emotion play a key role in assessing student comprehension, motivation, performance, and in increasing attention span. Therefore, it is critical to design user-friendly learning materials and activities that promote positive emotions, foster engagement, and motivate students towards academic achievement. It is imperative to prioritize emotional well-being in the design of online learning environments. And for cognition, this is one of the most commonly employed methods for assessing, which is based on performance scores. However, online learners' cognition has been impacted by the presence of multiple information sources and inadequate instruction in learning materials, leading to subpar performance. Therefore, it is crucial to enhance learning activities in order to improve learners' cognitive capacity. The assessment of cognition serves as both a validation of learners' knowledge and a measure of the effectiveness of learning resources. In effect, evaluating cognition is essential in determining the efficacy of the teaching and learning process and optimizing learning outcomes. As a result, this study will adopt a novel approach to comprehensively evaluate the learning of learners by employing an EEG tool that captures attention, emotion, and cognition. This is due to the fact that few studies have used this approach, with some focusing on one or two components using different methods. In determining the three major factors of the study, it is also crucial to consider relevant pedagogy recommendations. Based on reviews conducted, few studies introduce pedagogy that address the mental load status, as the majority of studies focus on pedagogy based on learner skills performance. Therefore, this study intends to develop a rule-based pedagogy with the guidance of an educational expert. It is worth noting that the development of the pedagogy in this study was already published in a reputable journal. After conducting a thorough review, the study objectives were formulated as follows. The first objective is to analyze the EEG brain signal on attention, emotion, and cognition in terms of signal preprocessing, signal classification, and signal analysis. Number two objective is to aggregate a function based on the extracted attention, cognition, and emotion, such as gamma, beta, alpha, and theta. Number three objective is to correlate the learning task, activities, EEG signal based on the aggregated function. Number four objective is to perform regression analysis that identifies the factor affecting learners' performance. And the last objective is to recommend an adaptive learning pedagogy for learners. Moving on to elucidate the concept of the study, three stages are involved: EEG acquisition, EEG processing, and EEG signal analysis. The enclosed red dotted lines indicate the contribution of the study. In this framework, learners wear an EEG instrument consisting of 14 electrodes placed on the head surface to capture their attention, emotion, and cognition, while reading the module, answering exercises as summative assessment, and performing actual coding as practical assessment. The performance scores of both summative and practical assessment will be recorded for further analysis. Next, the recorded EEG signal will be extracted from the emotive Epoch Pro application and subjected to pre-processing using Python. This will involve applying denoising algorithms such as the honey window, fast Fourier transform, bandpass filter, and Wells periodogram method. Subsequently, the power absolute spectral density will be computed to determine the frequency bands recorded by the learners, including gamma, indicating very high mental load, beta, indicating high mental load, alpha, indicating normal mental load, and theta, indicating low mental load. Afterwards, the EEG signal will be evaluated using performance metrics such as the peak signal noise ratio and mean squared error will be utilized to evaluate the effectiveness of denoising the EEG signal. This evaluation will be carried out at each state of denoising to determine if there is statistical significance, ensuring that the filtered EEG closely approximate the original EEG values. Afterwards, the aggregated function for gamma, beta, alpha, and theta will be computed to be used in classification analysis, determination of attention, emotion, and cognition frequency bands, as well as correlation and regression analysis. For the classification analysis, support vector machine will be applied to assess the accuracy of the collected EEG datasets, serving as a means to validate the study results. Additionally, the aggregated results will be analyzed to determine which frequency bands are notably observed. This will be used as input for conducting correlation analysis to determine if there is a link between the recorded EEG signal during reading the module and answering exercises as the summative assessment, indicating changes in learners' mental load during different tasks. Then the EEG signal recorded during summative and its performance score, as well as the recorded EEG signal on practical assessment and its performance score will be examined for degree of correlation. Finally, regression analysis will be employed to determine which recorded EEG mental load tasks, such as reading the module, answering exercise questions, and actual coding tasks as the practical assessment, have significant impact on learners' performance scores. Result of the regression analysis with a p-value higher than the significance level of 0.05 will serve as the basis for recommending appropriate pedagogy for specific learners, suggesting that educators revisit the learning materials and employ the recommended pedagogical approach. Additionally, paired t-tests will be conducted to analyze if there is an effect on learners' performance when wearing or not wearing an EEG tool. Furthermore, the paired t-test can be employed cyclically to continuously improve the learning materials and monitors learners' progress. Next, this is to present to you the architectural method that shows the detailed activities from the experimental setup, EEG acquisition, EEG processing, EEG analysis, and the EEG evaluation. First is the preparation of the learning module that anticipates the recommendation of the studies relative to attention, emotion, and cognition. This material was validated by the experts. Also, the researcher seeks the consent of the participants to process, investigate, and interpret their data, ensuring them that their identity will not be disclosed. Showing you on how to collect the EEG datasets. All electrodes placed on the surface of the head will capture the attention, emotion, and cognition of the learners while performing the task. Next, this is the procedure for feature extraction from the 14 electrodes, which results in a total of 9,752 and 213 samples. These frequency samples will undergo pre-processing. As can be seen from the data, the number of frequency samples recorded by the learners for each task varies depending on the duration of the task. Longer tasks result in a higher number of frequency samples recorded by the learners. For processing the EEG signal, showing you how the Hanning window performs in smoothing the signal by reducing the non-integer value into 0. After smoothing the signal, the bandpass filter application is shown to control the range of the signal to be analyzed to 4 Hz for the low-cut frequency and 100 Hz for the high-cut frequency. And to reduce the variance of the signal, this Wells periodogram method performs the analysis of the signal using 20-second windowing. Finally, to generate the recorded frequency bands of the learners, whether they are gamma, beta, alpha, theta, or delta, the absolute power spectral is computed. To ensure significant changes at every stage of signal pre-processing, both raw and filtered signal were transformed using fast Fourier transform analysis, allowing for an evaluation of the mean squared error and peak signal to noise ratio. Moving on to the signal analysis. This is how the study aggregated frequency bands recorded by the learners across tasks. Furthermore, where each electrode that captures on attention, emotion, and cognition is categorized to make assessment which among the factors is highly observed. Next, this is to classify the 2,310 EEG data sets in order to determine the accuracy of each frequency band, such as gamma, beta, alpha, and theta. For the correlation analysis, the link between task and mental load and the link between mental load and performance score are investigated based on the person or degree of correlation. The computed EEG absolute power spectral value serves as the input for the regression model, in which the performance score is the dependent variable and the mental load from reading the module, summative assessment through answering questions, and practical assessment by performing machine coding activities are the independent factors. The resulting p-value from the regression will be compared to the threshold value of 0.05, indicating which tasks significantly influence learners' performance. Otherwise, if the tasks do not significantly influence a learner's performance, they will be revisited to improve the learning module. Next, the pedagogy was designed with the assistance of experts. A survey was conducted to allow experts to rank the pedagogy based on the mental status of learners. As a result, the rule-based approach was developed to guide the design of the pedagogy. Finally, this is the paired t-test used to determine if there is a significant effect on learners' performance scores between those who are not wearing an EEG and those who are wearing the EEG tool. Before presenting the findings of the study, I would like to inform the panelists that I have previously published studies related to the completion of this study. These studies involve the development of pedagogy and the examination of correlation analysis of brain signals. For the EEG processing result, based on this result, the PSNR recorded approximately 65 to 66% of the signal, and the mean squared error has greatly dropped in the final stage of processing. This shows that even though the signal underwent 3 stages of processing, the information is still close to the actual values of the recorded EEG signal. Next, the classification result is presented. The findings show that SBM with no kernel and with a Gaussian kernel outperform other kernels, achieving an accuracy score of 52%. Furthermore, the results reveal that alpha, beta, and theta receive a classification score of 100%, while gamma and delta values are mislabeled as theta, indicating low mental load. This suggests that the values are very close and resulted in accuracy of only 52%, which is not recommended for creating a model for prediction analysis. Additionally, gamma actually indicates very high mental load, and delta values are excluded from the analysis since this frequency bands indicates that the learner is sleeping while all learners are supposed to be awake during the task. The result shows that the learners recorded gamma values were close to zero, indicating very high mental load. Beta values indicated high mental load, and the alpha indicated normal mental load, showed the most observed recorded frequency bands. The observed frequency bands varied among learners regardless of competency level. suggesting differences in how learners process information. In certain tasks, most learners reduce their frequency bands, possibly to relax and better absorb the exercises. Learners also change their frequency bands when transitioning to the next task, supporting the idea that learning processes vary among individuals. Moving on to the result of the aggregated signal based on learners' attention, it was observed that learners recorded frequency bands such as alpha, beta, and gamma, indicating that they were more focused and attentive when performing the task. Furthermore, the result revealed that in reading 1, only 7 learners recorded a gamma value, indicating that they experienced very high mental load, resulting in a failing grade with only 3 learners passing. Similarly, for the beta value, indicating high mental load in performing reading 1 and exercise 2, only learner 15 achieved a passing score. On the other hand, learners who had the highest alpha value, indicating normal mental load, received a passing score of only 57%, suggesting that the high peak signal due to information overload impacted their performance score. This result demonstrates that the three frequency bands are significantly associated with learners' emotion. In particular, learner 4, who falls under the challenge category, experienced a very high mental load while performing reading task 1. This could be attributed to the possibility that this learner encountered negative emotional difficulties while attempting to understand the topic or focusing intensely on the details that piqued their interest, which could also be associated with increased brain activation due to being more analytical. Studies have shown that experience a high mental load can impact performance. Despite being classified as a challenged learner, in this case, the learner still achieved a passing score of 40 out of 50, indicating their ability to cope with the challenges they face. Learner L5, classified as capable, had a high emotional mental load during various tasks, resulting in low performance scores and failing performance. Learner L5 needs to be better understand the implementation of the while loop. However, learner L5 still had the highest frequency value under normal mental load for exercise 3 and 4, while other learners had slight differences in alpha values. Positive or negative emotions can affect peak signal, with positive emotion potentially enhancing performance and negative emotion potentially impairing performance. Only 47% of learners receive a passing score based on overall results, indicating that normal mental load benefits some learners but not others, possibly influenced by personal characteristics, preferences, and values. The results show that 5 learners experienced very high mental load during the reading task, indicating their seriousness and focus on absorbing information. Learners L5 and L2 had the highest mental load during exercises 1, 3, and 4, but received failing grades despite their attention, implying difficulty with for loop and while loop activity. Learners L5 and L12 still recorded high mental load during reading tasks, suggesting a focus on understanding the material. Learner L5 had the highest alpha value for exercise 3, while most other learners had normal mental load. The signal peak for gamma, beta, and alpha values was similar regardless of learners' classification. Approximately 60% of learners had normal mental load, while 40% had high or very high mental load, particularly during reading task 1. This task was critical for understanding the iterative structure. 8 students passed, but 7 students failed, possibly due to stress from excessive workload. Study shows that excessive workload can negatively impact learners' performance both physically and psychologically. For the correlation results between reading and exercise tasks show that a majority of learners recorded no correlation or low correlation, indicating that their brain activity signals differed between tasks. Some learners showed strong correlation, indicating consistent alpha values and attention to the topic. This result suggests that learners' brain activity changes significantly when presented with different tasks, regardless of their competency level. The study also indicates that there are individual differences in mental load and mental effort, as supported by statistical insignificance in some cases. Learners' physical response seem to be influenced by how they receive and process information. The correlation between brain signals during exercise and machine problem tasks does not show any correlation. This implies that the brain activity in answering exercise questions in the summative assessment is not necessarily the same as in performing the machine problem in their practical assessment, even though both tasks challenge the brain and may increase brain signal activity. When examining the correlation between mental load tasks and learners' performance scores, the findings reveal that the variables are not statistically significant, indicating that the learner's mental load does not impact their performance scores. This result is supported by a study that found that having a high mental load negatively affects learners' performance scores, as being overwhelmed with tasks and information may result in brain fatigue and stress from information overload. The challenges faced by learners in understanding the given exercises during the experiment clearly highlight the needs for practice in analytical and logical thinking. The regression analysis revealed that the majority of learners recorded a p-value higher than 0.05 in all tasks, including reading and machine coding, indicating that the tasks were not statistically significant and there was no relationship between brain activity and performance scores. This suggests a need to revisit the teaching materials by simplifying the activities and providing more examples to enhance learners' performance on this iterative topic. These findings are consistent with the result of a study of Norosi and Karami, who also found that increased cognitive load had no impact on test scores. In summary, the regression result, in conjunction with experts' opinions, highlighted specific activities and topics that should be emphasized for learner improvement. It was found that a high mental load had a negative impact on performance scores regardless of the student competency level. Experts recommend an inquiry-based and integrative approach, including activities such as trial and error, investigation, analysis, and problem solving. Additionally, simulation can be incorporated into the pedagogy to enhance learning outcomes. The paired t-test results indicate a significant effect with computed p-values of less than 0.05 in both one-tail and two-tail cases. Furthermore, despite 53% of learners receiving a low passing score, findings reveal that they significantly improve their iterative skills. This is because the students recognize the need to better understand the topic during the pretest activity, leading to significant performance improvement in the post-test. Additionally, the mean coefficient of each efficacy test is statistically significant, indicating a large effect on learners' performance with an approximate difference of 15.72%. To conclude, the study findings reveal that the pre-processing technique applied to optimize the Aegis signal was highly successful, resulting in a significant decrease in mean squared error values and an increase in peak signal ratio for gamma, beta, and alpha frequency bands. Learners showed 100% accuracy in classifying EEG data for these bands. Analysis of aggregated EEG signals showed that alpha was the most dominant frequency band, suggesting learners experience a normal mental load while performing tasks. Learners modulated their signal values during tasks, with some showing the highest values in each frequency band. Attention components significantly impacted performance, with approximately 50% of learners receiving failing grades due to high peak signals in gamma, beta, and alpha. Correlation analysis revealed varying degrees of correlation between mental load and performance scores, with some learners showing no correlation or low, moderate correlation. Regression analysis indicated that learners' mental load management played a critical role in their performance, with strategies for effective mental load management recommended, where 60% of them recorded that the tasks have no significant impact to their performance, while 40% shows significant impact. A personalized approach to pedagogy that 67% of the learners requires inquiry approach and 33% requires integrative approach was recommended based on regression p-values for each learner to improve performance. And to further improve the study, the following were recommended. Based on the result of the Aegis signal analysis, it is recommended to incorporate strategies that can help learners manage their mental loads effectively to enhance their learning outcomes. Additionally, the learning materials context and activities should be revisited to ensure that they align with the learner's mental load management capabilities. The result of the correlation suggests that learners' mental load varies significantly regardless of their competency status, depending on how they manage the information they receive. Therefore, it is recommended to provide learners with resources and tools that can help them manage their mental loads effectively to improve their performance. The regression analysis revealed that learners' mental load management played a critical role in their performance, and it is recommended to focus on strategies that help learners manage their mental loads effectively. The analysis of the regression p-value suggests that a personalized approach to pedagogy can significantly improve learners' performance. Therefore, it is recommended to integrate inquiry approach and integrative approach pedagogies when designing learning materials for each learner based on their individual needs and learning styles. Overall, the result of the study highlight the importance of personalized approaches to learning and the need to consider learners' mental load management capabilities when designing learning materials. It is recommended to provide learners with resources, tools, and strategies to help them manage their mental load effectively, which can significantly enhance their learning outcomes. That's all, and thank you for listening.